we're all drawn to these unique crafts, things made with skills passed down over generations. They have this real connection to a place in a history. But have we ever stopped to think about who makes them? And could these traditions actually be at risk of disappearing? Today, we're looking at a new project, the Traditional Artisan Marketplace. It's trying to address this pretty big challenge.
Yeah, and it goes beyond just being another online store. What's really interesting is the aim, to create a direct link between you, the people who appreciate these crafts, and the artisans themselves. They get a much fairer deal for their work. That's what we'll be digging into today.
Yeah, exactly. And it's really cool how it came about. It wasn't just some random idea. The marketplace was developed using this thing called the EON AI-powered Entrepreneur Guide.
Yeah.
So we'll be taking a deep dive into how this tool is tackling some pretty ingrained problems in fair trade and keeping these cultural traditions alive. It could be a game changer for artisans all over the world.
For sure. So let's start by looking at the problem that this marketplace is trying to solve. The thing that really stood out to me is how little artisans actually make from the final price. Like, you might buy a hand-woven scarf for, say, $50, but the weaver who spent hours making it might only see $5 or $10 of that. The system is set up so that a bunch of middlemen take a cut, and the person who actually created it gets, well, very little.
It's like there's a disconnect, right? We love these beautiful things, but the people who make them are often barely scraping by. The research actually suggests that something like 50%, that's half, of all traditional crafts are considered endangered because of these economic pressures. And it's not just about money. It's about losing a part of their culture, their identity.
And on top of the money issue, there's also this disconnect in the story behind these crafts. When an object passes through so many hands, the cultural meaning, the inspiration, the techniques, it all gets kind of watered down or lost before it reaches the buyer. So people don't really understand or appreciate the craft as much, and that affects how valuable it seems.
And that leads us to the solution, the Traditional Artisan Marketplace. Basically, it's a digital space where artisans can sell their products directly to customers. And here's the big change. Instead of getting that measly 10-20%, they're looking at earning 70 to 80% of the final price. It flips the whole model on its head.
That's huge. Increasing how much they earn tackles the low wages directly. But there's also some clever technology being used. Blockchain verification is a key feature mentioned in what we've been looking at.
Right. Imagine blockchain as like a really secure digital record keeper. It can prove that each item is authentic. So when you buy something, you can be much more certain that it was actually handcrafted using traditional methods by the artisan it's supposed to be from.
It brings in a level of trust and transparency that's often missing in regular stores. And to add to this, they've also included immersive storytelling features. This is so important because it helps communicate the cultural significance we talked about, bringing the artisan's world right to you.
It's like being able to watch a short video of the potter making a pot. Hearing them describe the design's meaning, the family traditions that have been passed down, suddenly the object becomes so much more than just a thing, And they also have transparent pricing. You can see exactly where your money is going, which reinforces that ethical connection.
Exactly. Knowing how the price breaks down just makes the whole buying process feel more trustworthy. So how did this marketplace come about? It wasn't a gradual thing. It came together pretty quickly using this EON AI-powered Entrepreneur Guide.
So this Entrepreneur Guide is like the mastermind behind it all. From what we can tell, it's a complete digital platform that guides people who want to start businesses through the whole process. And apparently, it helped someone who was passionate about cultural heritage to turn that passion into a fully functioning marketplace in just a few weeks. Pretty impressive.
Yeah, and the way it helped is fascinating. For instance, it helped the entrepreneur identify their main purpose, and there was this strong connection to cultural heritage, handicrafts, and fair trade. Having that inner drive is often what makes or breaks a new venture.
It makes sense. If you really believe in what you're doing, you're more likely to push through the tough times. And then the guide helped them zero in on those key problems we've been talking about, the low pay for artisans, the crafts that are disappearing, and the lack of genuine storytelling. It seemed like the AI helped them focus on where the biggest needs were.
And crucially, it also looked at how viable the market was. The guide showed that there's a real demand for ethically sourced, unique products, which meant a marketplace like this had a good chance of success. It also pointed out the potential for multiple revenue streams, which is really important for staying afloat long term.
And from that understanding of the problems and the market, the guide then helped create the solution itself. That direct-to-consumer model, using blockchain for verification, incorporating the storytelling elements, and making the pricing transparent. It sounds like the AI gave them a really structured way to build a well-thought-out business.
Yeah, it shows how technology can be a powerful tool, not just for running a business, but also for coming up with the initial idea and figuring out the strategy. Let's move on to some of the specific features that make this marketplace unique.
One of the main things is the artisan profiles. They go way beyond just listing the products. You have pictures, videos. It lets the artisans really show off their traditions, their skills, and tell their own stories. It's about creating human connection.
Right. And it's connected to the cultural context information they provide for each craft. They explain the history, the significance, the cultural nuances behind each object. It helps you, as a customer, understand and appreciate it on a deeper level.
And we've mentioned this before, but it's worth repeating. The transparent pricing breakdown. You can see exactly how much of your money goes straight to the artisan, which encourages ethical buying.
And of course, the authentication verification using blockchain gives you that crucial guarantee that the product is the real deal and connected to traditional craftsmanship.
Looking forward, the marketplace has some big plans for growth. They're starting with 50 artisans and 200 products, but within the next year and a half, they want to expand to 500 artisans across 25 different craft traditions in 5 different countries. That's a massive jump.
That shows they have a clear vision for growth and are committed to offering a wide range of authentic artisan goods to people all over the world. And their plan to make the blockchain verification even better within 2 years shows they are serious about keeping things trustworthy and authentic.
And a bit further down the line, within 30 months, they're looking into content licensing and partnering with institutions. That could be a really interesting way to expand their impact, maybe by sharing their videos and photos with educational organizations and generating more income.
Definitely. Licensing their content could spread their mission beyond just sales, promoting cultural understanding more widely. And they're planning to launch a curated subscription box service within 3 years, which is another smart way to engage customers and give consistent support to the artisans.
It's a good strategy to have multiple income streams for long-term stability. Their model includes a 12% marketplace commission, which is much lower than what traditional retailers take. That underlines their commitment to fair pay for the artisans.
That lower commission is a big deal. They're also looking into tiered verification services, which could offer extra value and bring in more revenue. And as we said, the cultural content licensing and the premium subscription boxes all contribute to a stronger financial base.
We also have a quote from Dan Legerskar, the founder of Eon Reality, who created the AI-powered Entrepreneur Guide. He said that the traditional artisan marketplace is a perfect example of how their guide can turn passion into a business with a real purpose, creating both economic and social value, particularly in preserving cultural heritage.
That quote sums up what this initiative is all about. It's not just about buying and selling, it's about making a positive impact, helping people make a living, and protecting these valuable cultural traditions.
And to give you a bit more background, Eon Reality is a leading company in augmented and virtual reality-based knowledge transfer. They've got a great track record of developing AI-powered platforms and delivering immersive training solutions across different industries. They bring a lot of technological expertise to this project.
Yeah, their experience in turning knowledge into digital formats and creating immersive experiences probably played a big part in developing those engaging storytelling features and making the marketplace user-friendly.
So when we look at the traditional artisan marketplace as a whole, we see a really exciting model for fair trade in action. By connecting you directly with the artisans and using technology like blockchain and immersive storytelling, this platform wants to make sure artisans get paid fairly for their amazing skills and help preserve these important cultural traditions.
And importantly, it addresses those core issues we started with, the problem of artisans not earning enough to keep doing their craft, and the very real risk of losing these unique and culturally important traditions.
It really makes you think about the bigger picture, doesn't it? How can technology be used to support cultural heritage and encourage ethical business practices? And as consumers, what's our role in this changing world? Maybe it's time we all started thinking a bit more about the stories behind the things we buy and how our choices affect the people who make them.
That brings up a really important question for all of you listening. How might a platform like the traditional artisan marketplace change how you see the things you buy and the skilled people who put their heart and heritage into creating them?
If you're interested in finding out more, you can check out the Traditional Artisan Marketplace yourself at www.traditionalartisanmarketplace.com, and you can learn more about Eon Reality, and their AI-powered entrepreneur guide at www.eonreality.com, entrepreneur-guide.